Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have back with us Leo Climaco, who's a business acceleration specialist, and he's the author of Align and Unleash, The Way to Your Truth. Leo, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Mike. So much for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
Hey, you as well. I'm enjoying our series of conversations here because we can't just have one conversation about this book. It is I kind of feel like this is your crusade and your mission. So this is not just give us a little brief highlight and we're good to go. We have to go deep into these techniques. And so today I'm excited to talk about your core four. We briefly touched around them previously, but now we want to go deeper into the core four of body, being, balance, and business. Get us started with the first one here of body. When you start working with people and starting to enlighten them on how they should be approaching the core of the body, where do you start?
Well, this methodology of the core four was designed to be the foundation where you set the standards, where you allow yourself to give yourself a point where you can grow from and evolve. So the first pillar of this core four is body. Your body is the most important thing that you have. It is literally and physically your temple. It is what allows you to connect, interact, see, hear, touch, feel with the world. And if you are not optimal, if you are not healthy, if you are not taking care of your body, you as a man cannot provide for your family. If you're sick, you can't work. If you're unhealthy, you can't work. If you are not in the right state of mind and you're depressed and you're overweight, you cannot function properly. Eventually, your knees start giving out, and that leads to other things like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, heart attacks. We've seen it over and over and over again. When men over 30 stop working out, they begin to lose muscle. And that starts to compile very, very quickly. And by the time you're in your late 50s to your early 60s, you start to become a shell of yourself and you start to hunch over because you've lost all the definition and the muscle within your body. I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. And there's this 82-year-old man that goes 6 to 7 days a week. He runs about 3 miles every single day at 82. He is the happiest, the most, the brightest person in the gym. He speaks to everyone. He greets everyone. He's so happy and full of joy. Why? Clearly, because he knows how to take care of himself. He's in the gym every single day at 82 years old, making sure that his joints, his knees, his hands, his body is all functioning properly so he can continue to live his beautiful life. Now, along with that, you need to eat properly. Eating is a problem that a lot of people have, especially in our culture in America. We live in a society where we do everything around food. And we force sometimes people to eat more than what they want and what they should. It looks so good. It tastes so good. We're having such a good time. And you're eating. This can become habitual. And if it does, it can become a big problem. America has the highest obesity rate out of any developed country in the world. We are literally a fat nation. And it's because all of our foods is filled with preservatives, and it's all processed, and it has all these chemicals and all these steroids and all these hormones. And if you are not conscious, if you are not self-aware of what you're putting into your temple, into your body, then there's a big problem, because you don't know what you're eating and you don't know what is being fed to you. You don't know what is being done to your body at a molecular level from you eating all this processed food. You don't know what effect that's having on your hormone or on your brain cells. Understanding what you're putting into your body, making sure that it's organic, healthy, fresh, is extremely important. These two, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You finish your thought.
I was going to say that these two parts, the gym and the nutrition, are the two pillars of body within the pillar of body, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Because you could go to the gym 8 days a week and eat horribly, and you wouldn't have as good of results as if you go consistently, do the right workouts, and eat consistently the right meal plan. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds of the 19,000 different workout routines and fasting and paleo and things like that, but let's talk a little bit about that, the two aspects of the pillar of the body. Talk a little bit about what you advise a client to do if they literally are not taking care of the body. They haven't started. Well, they should not go work out 6 days a week. So how do you ease into that consistency? And then along with that question, do you recommend different routines for different ages, as a 20-year-old might work out differently than a 50-year-old?
I think the best way to start is 2 to 3 times a week, especially if you haven't done anything for a very long time. And I would start out very, very slow. I would first do a 15 to 20 minute walk/jog just to get your heart rate up. And then what I would do is I would do some free weights, very basic. I would set a structure to start, maybe something like shoulders and back on Monday. You can do chest, biceps, and maybe triceps on Wednesday. And you can do legs on Friday, just as an example. And you can start very, very slow. You can start with very low weights. The point is for two things. You want to set a pace so you can go for 21 days in a row, because you want to build that habit. So for the first month, all you're trying to do is get yourself to the gym every single day. Doesn't matter if you're there 45 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, doesn't matter. Just get yourself to the gym. Get your mind acquainted and used to you being there and you going there. That's the first step if you haven't gone to the gym in a very long time. You must reframe, and you must allow your mind to get used to this new frame and for it to adapt before you start going really, really hard at the gym.
Mm-hmm. Agree. What you said there is just perfect, because if you feel like I need to go way more than I should, you're going to burn out in a week if you try to go 6 times. So I love that progression. Speaking of progression, let's now, when do you layer in the nutrition side of things? Is that alongside the starting of the workout routine? And then what are your recommendations from a broad perspective that way?
Correct. That definitely comes alongside the workouts. I think the best way to go about it is to download an app called MyFitnessPal. And this app will allow you to track your metrics, meaning you're going to input your age, your weight, your height, and it's going to calculate how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats you should be eating each day, which makes it a lot easier for you, because you don't have to think about what do I have to eat in order to fuel my body. It's telling you need to eat X number of calories, X number of proteins in order to satisfy your body per day. So now it's your job to go out and measure and find good quality food to nourish your body in order for you to have the energy you need to keep going.
I really like your approach there, because too many people would be like, let's just go and jump in and be all in. But you're taking a measured approach, and from the workout to the nutrition, and slowly layering in more and more, and listening to your body and following a structure, and having an app like MyFitnessPal to follow that makes it so much easier that way. So taking care of the body becomes that foundation to that core of your methodology. The next one in your next chapter is being. So first of all, define that. What is your perspective of being in this core?
To me, being is the observer of your thoughts. That's really who you are. You're being. You are not your mind. You are not your body. You are the observer of it. And to me, that is your higher self, also known as source, God. So that is what being means. Being is God. Being is your higher self, is your connection to source. How deep is it? How big is your faith? How deep are you committed to the word of God? I don't think it really matters what religion you follow. I don't even think if you follow a religion, you can be spiritual. You can still believe in God. You can still have faith. But I think it's important as a man to believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's too many things that happen in life that if you don't have God in your life, it's going to be extremely hard for you to move on and let go. Understanding God is understanding your relationship with yourself. Loving God is learning to love yourself. They're one and the same. God is in you. The moment you discover that, the moment that you realize that we're all made of star particles, we are all made of dust, we were all made in the eyes of the Lord. We are the universe. We are physical manifestation of the universe understanding itself. Once you come to this understanding that we are all one, we are all connected, you are able to have a level of faith and a level of trust in life that is incredible. And it gives you strength. It gives you power. It gives you a platform to stand on, because you understand that you have a higher power backing you. Clearly, of course, you have to do your part. But if you are someone that has this understanding and you do your part, God will meet you halfway, and doors will open for you, and things will align for you, and you will be able to unleash, especially coming into your truth. Mm-hmm. The way to God is truth. The way to God is love. You cannot get to love if you don't have truth.
Interesting. You mentioned that that being is the spiritual God side of us, and it makes me think of kind of that we need to be aware of that. And you've probably heard this before, but we probably should not just check the box that, okay, yeah, I understand that. Tell me the next, concept. And we're made to be human beings versus human doings. So yes, there needs to be a time where we need to get her done, but there also needs to be the time where we just need to be and notice and be aware and assess so that then we can move to that next step. Talk a little bit about that awareness aspect based on what you just laid out there.
I think that was beautifully said, and I agree 100%. In our day-to-day lives, we just want to go, 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 go. Right? What's next? What's next? What's next? Next appointment, next this, next that, picking up kids, dropping them off, going to school, and this. It's a constant cycle of what's next. And we forget to take time to connect with ourselves, to connect with source, to pray, to meditate, to have a spa day, go to the beach. All of that is different types of meditation, different types of self-love, different types of reconnection with God, with earth, with source, with self. Clearly, a lot of us don't have a beach in front of us. We don't have, we aren't able to go to spas every day, which is why there's the beauty of meditation and prayer. It's free, it's easy, it's simple, and you can do it anytime you want. All you need is a little space to yourself with quiet. Close your eyes, take deep breaths. If you want to pray, if you want to talk, you can go ahead. Or you can just observe your breath and connect with your inner power, with your inner strength. Breath is inner power. Breath is life. Observe your breath. It allows you to recenter. It regrounds you. It reconnects you to yourself, to source. If everyone took 10 to 20 minutes every single day to meditate and to reconnect with themselves and with source, this world would be a much, much happier, much more satisfied place.
So far we've talked about the core of body and the core of being. And there seems, in my opinion, to be a thread that runs through these two, which is discipline. Because you need to be disciplined to implement those techniques you mentioned about body and to take time for being and awareness and meditation, all these things. So how does discipline play into these two cores?
I think discipline comes very easy when you come into your truth and understand and accept that truth and your reality. I think that must happen first, because once you come to this realization, Mike, of this is my truth, this is my reality, the next step is I must take action. Things must change. Things must be different. Mm-hmm. So if you are an undisciplined person, and you realize this, I am undisciplined and I want to change my ways. I want to be better. I want to do things differently. You must then go out and search for a way for you to learn and discover what discipline is, which is where coaching and mentoring comes in. Nowadays, you can self-teach yourself. We have a beautiful tool called YouTube, where there's tons and tons and thousands of videos on mindfulness and on rebuilding yourself and discovering yourself. Or you can also get a coach, someone who's going to guide you in this new path that you're trying to take of discovering yourself through discipline, through your body, through God.
Leo, I know you've heard this before, but it's been said that you need to become sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so that's exactly what you just said there. It's like, okay, I am ready. How do I start implementing? And so that's what ties into that. So moving on to the next core of balance. What is your perspective there on balance? Because I really love that word. I feel like if you are imbalanced and you are focused too much on body, then maybe you're not focused enough on being. So how does balance now start playing into the four pillars?
Just touching on what you previously said, I agree 100%. What I like to say is you have to become disgusted You need to have a level of disgust with your current state and with what's happening around you for you to really be able to change and grow. And that leads us right into balance, because if you're a family man, if you're a husband, if you're a father, you cannot just get stuck within your body and your being. You must understand that you are a father, you are a husband, you are a provider. You must also be the leader and be the nurturer of your family. So balance is family. Balance is your relationship with your wife. Do you date your wife, or are you guys just satisfied to be happily married or not, right? How often do you bring flowers to your wife? How is your level of communication? How is your level of connection? How is your sex life? How is your relationship with your kids? Do you put them to bed? Do you read books to them? Do you play with them? Do you go to the park? Do you pick them up from school? Are you there at every event? What is your relationship with your friends, with your parents? How are you showing up as the leader that you are? How are you leading? How are you being the example for everybody else? How are you balancing what you need to do for yourself and what is required of you for your family? That's really balance.
So, Leo, how do you tell if and when you start getting out of balance?
That is a phenomenal question. And the easiest way to tell if you are out of balance is if things are falling through the crack. That's my favorite way to know if I'm unbalanced. So within the 4 pillars, is something within the 4 pillars falling through the crack? Did I skip the gym twice this week? Did I go to McDonald's 3 times this week? Did I forget my anniversary? Did I forget to show up to my kid's recital? Are things falling through the crack? Are you not responding to the needs that are required from you? And if not, why? Once again, a requirement of coming into your truth is needed, because things are falling through the crack and you are not, one, noticing it or doing anything about it. So now you must reset. What is my truth? What is happening? Why are all these things falling through the crack? And what can I do about it?
Mm-hmm. I think maybe we can apply what we learned in the previous core of being, where we sit there and notice and become aware of things, and then that helps us become aware of when things are falling through the cracks, so that we can notice that, get back into balance. So then, when you start noticing it, what are some of the steps to get back into balance that you recommend?
That is beautifully, beautifully said, and that's exactly where I was going to go. Being the part of being that I find so incredible is that it can literally reset you. If you've ever meditated, if you've ever sat for 15 or 20 minutes and just observed your breath, you are much calmer. You are much tolerant. You are much more patient after you are done meditating. Going into yourself, taking time to reset, is the best way to guarantee that things won't fall through the crack. Things are falling through the crack because you are distracted, overthinking, and not focusing on what's required of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably anxious. You probably have a lot of things to juggle, and you're not handling it. So you need to take a deep breath, meditate, reorganize, prioritize properly. Going back to what I said on the previous chapter, on the previous conversation about living through your calendar, about learning to organize and prioritize yourself. This is all part of you being aligned and in balance so things don't fall through the crack. Because once things start falling through the crack, they snowball.
100%, and it becomes that amplification process. So I just think that is so spectacular. So now that kind of leads us into, if we have started paying attention to our body, being, keeping them in balance, that leads us to your next core four, which is business. That's chapter 13's focus. And I know that could be a whole weekend seminar in and of itself, but give us some perspectives on how that leads to now we need to apply to our business.
So I love how business is last within the core four, because there's a thread that ties all of them together, right? If once you align with your body and you choose to work on your temple and provide the right nutrients for your body, the next logical step is to connect to God, because you are automatically connecting to source by rejuvenating your body and wanting to work on your body and make it as healthy, as vibrant as possible. As a family man, once you connect to God, the next logical thing is to connect to your family. Once you have that love for God and that faith, you want to share that love with others, especially with your family. So once you are aligned within those three, you have a clear pathway on the highway. There's a clear shot. You are aligned in body, you are aligned in being, you are aligned in balance. Your head is clear. Your business has the room, the bandwidth to skyrocket. For your business to be successful, for you to make any amount of money that's significant, it requires a level of alignment, a level of discipline, a level of dedication, a level of creativity that requires a clear mind. And that's one thing that a lot of entrepreneurs cannot understand and get stuck in. They think that they're doing something wrong with the business, and they start making silly mistakes within the business, trying to compensate for something that they don't understand has nothing to do with their business. You would be surprised how many CEOs of top level companies work with coaches in order to align and to clear the path to allow them to think creatively, and allow them to be the leaders, the executives, the thought leaders that they are, the producers, the creators. Alignment is required for your business to grow. You can have the best business plan. You can have the best product. You will only grow so far. There is a limitation on growth if you are not aligned.
And I would venture to say as well that alignment ties into the balance we were talking about, because if you have that best business plan and that best product and service, you could work 26 hours a day, hypothetically, obviously not literally, but then you're out of balance. Your family is not, you're not taking the kids to the park. You're not picking them up from school. Your body is not in. So now all of a sudden we're seeing how these core four are so integrated and tied in together with that balance with and like we're talking about business, you're not talking about any tactics right here. You're just saying you need to have that right foundation.
Exactly. And foundation is everything. It is everything. You know, back in the day, back when knights and kings ruled, your last name mattered. Your last name was a pillar. It was a foundation of your family, of who you are. Most families had a crest, they had a seal, they had their names, and they had an entire description or poem or quote describing their family and their power and their heritage. That was their foundation. That was the model for their family. And everyone in that family followed that model, that shield, and they were proud of it. They were honored by it. And they honored it by following it. And I think we've lost that. We've lost that sense of having a foundation of respect, a foundation of morality that allows you to grow and catapult and that you will never go beneath. And the core four is that for me. It is that shield. It is that crest. It is that emblem. It's that foundation that gives me the four pillars for me to stand on and catapult and evolve into who I want to be, which is the best version of myself.
Yep. And like we said in a previous talk, it's your code. So Leo, if this has been so enlightening to cover these core four of your code, your methodology, the body, the being, the balance, and the business. So if someone is interested in learning a little bit more, reaching out, connecting with you, and picking up a copy of your book, what's the best way they can do that?
The best way is to go to my website, leoclimaco.com, or online and unleash.com. You can also go to my Instagram at Leo Climaco, and both of those links will be on my bio.
Excellent. Well, Leo, thank you so much for coming back on today. It's been a real pleasure talking with you.
Mike, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. I really appreciate you providing your platform for me to get my word out. Thank you.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.